Dogleg Brewery in Fort Worth, Texas. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of You Can't Brew That on Television. I am the Reverend Ryan Bono, and since we don't have a producer tonight, you can pretend that there's a little graphic in front of me saying Reverend Ryan Bono, and this
is Kyle Kilo Lapointe. I'll make up my own nickname for today.
Kilo Lapointe and the Reverend Ryan Bono checking in without graphics. Thanks to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Is that who we're blaming on this?
Sure. Yeah, the Department of Agriculture has definitely affected us in a negative fashion.
Big Brother is watching through his friends at the Farmland Department, and they actually, didn't his computer explode?
His computer exploded, but they did not like the fact that he decided to use the front of their building to wait for his wife to come out of the building across the street.
Well, and he doesn't wear corduroy overalls, which was particularly offensive to our friends at the Department of Agriculture.
Well,
SWAT team's going to bust in any second.
Yeah, I mean...
sent by the USDA.
No, the Department of Agriculture, I mean, they're great if it wasn't for, all the stuff that they didn't do and all the money that they did spend. But other than that, they're awesome. So anyway...
Welcome to Dogleg Brewery, everyone, where we always stay on topic, and that topic is always beer.
Beer?
Beer.
What are we drinking tonight?
Tonight, we're drinking Real Ale Devil's Backbone. As you can see, as Kyle holds it up nice and close for the camera, This is a Belgian-style triple ale.
I've never had this one. This is a Real Ale seasonal.
This is going to be a first for both of us, actually.
Belgian triples are supposed to be light. They often come in with a little Pils malt, which means they may have a little Cornish type character, but it's going to be light in the flavor of something like this. They'll range in alcohol, so it'll be...
They'll range in alcohol, they'll range in color.
Yep.
You'll see Belgian triples come in as light and beautiful as this, and
most of them around this color.
A little bit cloudy, but that's okay. That's definitely okay with the style. And they'll also come in pretty dark sometimes. So
we got a trash can now. Threw something away.
Oh, we do have a trash can. Man, we're moving up in the world. We have a live internet show and we have a trash can.
So, what do you get out of that?
Some
green apples, right? Big in the nose. You get that acetylide a little bit?
There's some definite fruity esters. I'm not catching the green apples. I mean, it's definitely like more of a fresh fruit than something dried. Yeah, I can see. It's
acetylide a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get the green apples. Yeah,
but that is totally okay in this style. If not, totally okay.
It's actually not expected.
Yeah, something you want because
the yeast that the Belgian monks use does tend to leave behind a lot of those fruit type of flavors and smells. A lot of pepper and spices.
Yep. And a lot of times the different styles of beer that you get in Belgium. That's right, not Belgium.
Yeah, Belgium.
I mix those two words up quite often, so if you ever catch me, just notify me on the text message that I'm kind of being a turd, and we'll be okay from there. But anyway, they have different styles and different flavors that come out. When you have the darker roasts, you're going to get more pruny type dark date flavors. Then when you have a lighter beer, you're going to get more of a green apple type flavor because, like you said, it's a general fruit style flavor.
There's some definite spice in here. I'm thinking like clove. It's kind of clovey. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing that your Belgian yeast are going to leave behind, and a lot of... I'm actually reading right now, I'm reading Brew Like a Monk. I think you already read it.
I haven't read that one yet.
Okay, Brew Like a Monk.
Recommended.
Yeah, fantastic book. I'm enjoying the heck out of it so far. And in the earlier chapters, he actually does a profile of each of the major Belgian Trappist breweries. And the Trappist breweries are run by monks. Only monks can brew Trappist products. So whenever... This is going to say, Belgian style triple because they can't actually brew a Trappist ale. Or I guess since they're not in Belgium, they can't brew a Belgian ale. But anyway, you will see that distinction quite a bit.
You can, because it's a nomenclature. What do they call that when you have something like champagne? Where they actually have champagne has to be made in the Champagne region of France.
Whatever.
So, of Frenchville.
Of freedom.
Yeah. And so
So what I was getting at is that he's interviewing the head brewers at these various breweries, and finding that almost all of them say that people ask them what spices they put in their beer, and a handful of them will put in a dash of, I believe Westfaletter puts in a dash of cardamom, and some of them, they'll put in a dash of this or a dash of the other, but they said the overwhelming majority of the spice that you're getting in these Belgian-style beers comes from their yeast.
And that's where the flavor comes from. And that's why when you have a Westvleteren, often referred to as Vesti for those
also referred to as the best beer in the world.
Best beer in the world. Fantastic.
It's worth every bit of that name.
But you can also buy it here in the States, even in Texas, as St. Bernardus. And St. Bernardus contract brewed for that Trappist, for those monks while they weren't brewing for a couple decades or decade and a half. And the two difference, you can taste the difference in it slightly.
I had a bottle of Bernardus last week, and I thought the difference was pretty marked. I thought it was pretty significant. Yeah, you can tell that they're using the same yeast,
and that's the biggest character.
Yeah, and that is the biggest character, but definitely the malt base is different. So actually, let's hold on. I'm going to write this down.
Get back on topic.
Future show, we're going to taste Westvleteren and we're going to taste Bernardus in the same show.
And I think the way that we need to have that happen is that our viewers need to send us all of their Westvleterens.
Send us all your Westvleterens so that
we'll taste it here for you.
Whether or not it tastes like St. Bernardus.
Right. You don't want to suffer through knowing whether that's going to taste like St. Bernardus or not.
You need internet television stars to tell you.
And we know because we're on TV. Well,
that's
internet
right.
TV. So,
television stars.
Burn Notice returns this June.
That's good. Real good.
Along with everything else you love about summer.
Oh, no!
Everybody, we'd like to take a moment for you to listen to our sponsors at Burn Notice and USA Network. We really appreciate the USA Network, and they're helping to fund this project.
They are.
I mean,
and if anybody at the USA Network wants to bring us onto their network, we'd be okay with that.
I mean, well,
Would you do USA? I don't know. USA might be like third wrong.
Right. I mean, they're advertising on our show. So
what about TBS? Could we
TBS?
I could do, because we could come right on after Conan.
Okay. Well, let's do that.
Okay.
Then.
So if anybody at TBS is watching, and if anybody at USA is watching that knows someone at TBS, go ahead and get us started.
All right. So
we're moving along.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about news. Kind of the Celtic is this weekend, right?
The Celtic. Well, the competition was last weekend.
Yeah,
not
the
quite
judging
done.
was last weekend.
The judging went a little slower than they had anticipated. They didn't get all the judges out that they needed, partially because Bono and I didn't come. We were busy doing yard work.
Yeah.
Our wives had us slave-driven at the casas. So that's Puerto Rican, Bono knows, for house. So we had like 10 flights left.
Hold on, dude Huge chimes in and says that TBS equals 2 beer studs, and I think that is a really good new name for that network. So bottom line is, Celtic judging was last weekend.
Didn't get done. They had 10 flights left. They did some more on Sunday. I think they got mostly through it. If not, they'll be done today. Worst case, they'll be done tomorrow. So next weekend, they'll be doing their best of show judging, which means they're going to take the best beers that they have of all the different categories and put each category and how well that one beer fits in its own category style against all the other beers that fit in their own category styles.
Kyle, is there a competition that doesn't care about styles?
There is one, and it is called the Best Damn Beer Competition. And we are 2 weeks away from this. I'll tell you this right now. It's the time to enter because I don't foresee us having as many entries as we'd have hoped.
And the prize is awesome.
The prize is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, honestly, if I wasn't judging, I'd probably dig up a bottle of Bernardus and just pour it into another bottle and
don't encourage that. Come on.
Why not?
Come on.
No,
seriously, put in your entries. It's $10. You send in 3 beers. And the prize is going to be a brand new stainless steel 3-gallon keg. They can fit in your home refrigerator. You can put it sideways. You can overcarb it. The thing with 3 gallons, you'll be able to push out all the beer from that.
It's a fantastic little prize,
and it's going to be custom painted. Best damn beer, custom. I mean, it's going to be awesome. Stubblefields Designs is putting it together, and I'm telling you, Stubby can really do some artwork. He's. I'll just be honest with you here. He's basically.
He's good, is what you're saying.
He's good, but he's coming and he's slumming to help us do this. This isn't the kind of stuff he does. He does bigwig type barbecue pits, competition vehicles, things like that. I mean, he's putting together a package that we can't resist. And if you ever have any need for any airbrushing or custom painting like that, I mean, the guy does a remarkable work.
Absolutely. We highly recommend him. So we've got actually a little bit of news for some of our viewers watching around the nation tonight, which we'd kind of like to start doing on a more regular basis to keep you guys interested.
There you go.
In Jacksonville, the Bold City Brewery is tuning. Let me try that again. In Jacksonville, the Bold City Brewery, and we've lost video. Oh, no, we haven't. The Bold City Brewery is teaming up with Bold Bean Coffee to release 4 limited edition coffee stouts, which I actually would really like to try. So you might find
separate limited edition?
4 separate limited edition.
They're going to try a bunch of different recipes and release a small batch?
That's what it sounds like. I imagine they'll be using like different flavors of coffee, different types of roast malts. And so that's going to be starting this July.
We could do a whole different episode on when you put in your coffee, what types of coffee, how you do it.
We could do a month of episodes about coffee stout. So,
coffee's awesome. I mean, when you're talking about brewing at your house, coffee's a flavor you get in with just having roasted malts and different carafa type malts, and it's just awesome to have that flavor in there. But if you put coffee in your beer, it can be so much better.
And here at Dogleg, actually, our first collaborative beer was a mixture of his espresso stout with my milk stout, and it ended up being a classic beer. So
it's a great beer.
And frankly, both beers were good to begin with.
They were.
And so yeah, coffee's a lot of fun to brew with.
Yeah, and again, that's one of those that we could meet a style or two if we were entering that in a competition. But when it's come out right, it's come out really right. Our last beer got a little lactic. We had a lot of problems.
Bit, yeah.
And
it got worse as it aged. Yeah.
But as opposed to, we made a 10-gallon batch with Matt Robinson, and he took 5 gallons home and said his was fantastic from day one, which led us to believe that our kegs, our secondaries, were having issues.
Problem was in the keg.
And we checked them and cleaned them, and we definitely had some schmutz in there, and that was causing all the problems. Which brings us on to today's problem, today's topic.
I thought we were going to talk about that next week. I thought we were going to do that.
Oh, well, we can do that.
Yeah, let's do next week. We're going to discuss actually a problem that a friend of mine had and contacted me about, where he was having problems with his beer tasting like sewage, which we've discussed before.
It's not very good.
Not good.
I don't know if you've had sewage before, but it's not the flavor you want in beer. It may be okay in like a McDonald's hamburger.
It's desirable in some third world countries,
right?
But not in America,
right.
Not in Texas.
I agree with that. And I mean, again, Whataburger is what we grew up on here in Texas, so we know that a McDonald's hamburger tastes like sewage, so we're okay with that.
So a little bit more news. We've got some news from Charlotte, North Carolina, coming up on June 12th. In Charlotte is the Rhythm and Brews Festival, and Rhythm and Brews is a big concert and craft beer festival, and proceeds go to help Americans with disabilities. So good
seriously,
beer.
Get out to that, man.
Good beer, good music, good cause. There's no reason not to go to that. So.
I'm all for that. I wish they had that somewhere closer to where I am right now. But we've got some viewers. We got some people out there that are South and North Carolinians, and man, head out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Check it out. Charlotte's cool anyway.
So tonight we kind of wanted to talk about a problem we were having here at the brewery. And
it's more of a problem I was having.
A problem Kyle was having at the brewery, because I don't spend enough time here to have the problem.
Because basically every time Bono would come over, he would want particular beers. And he knows what they all taste like. He's had them all. But
including the Scottish Red,
including our
the Irish IPA,
and the Irish IPA that we have, that are both pretty good beers. I'll just say that right now. The English IPA, it's missing a little bit because we ended up using some American hops far into the bittering, but the flavor came through.
If we have some time at the end of the episode, let's talk about that.
All right, we'll do that. But anyway, every time Bono come over, which beer's this one? Where do I get this beer? And I got kegs everywhere. I got kegs in fridges and, here, there, yada, yada.
What did I sound like? Can you do that one more time?
Hey, Kyle, I'm Puerto Rican. Where do I get this beer?
Hey, ese.
Hey, ese, come on, I'm Puerto Rican. And just
So I wanted to know which keg had which beer.
Right.
Is what we're getting at.
So he would always ask that question, and there's taps on there. And what we would do before was maybe put some tape on there, maybe not, and maybe write it on there, and maybe it get washed off by some splatter.
And you have masking tape, and you write on it with a marker, and it gets wet, it gets beaten around, it gets abused, and then the writing wears off. So we were trying to figure out a way to be able to easily mark the kegs so that the markings could be changed rapidly.
And that brings us to Walmart.
That brings us to Walmart. Guys, we're all about redneck engineering here. I mean, we live in Texas, and it does seep into us. So, Kyle, why don't you introduce this since it's your thing?
This is what they call a notebook card.
Notebook. Hold on, let me write this down. Index.
No?
Okay.
Okay. I knew it was something fancy. I couldn't think of it.
Index
Write
card.
that down. How do you spell index?
Is it with an X or a CKS?
Okay.
We
Index
are
cards.
Dorks.
Write down dorks. How do you spell
Dorks.
that? With a Q.
D-O-R-X.
No, it's with a Q.
D-O-R-Q.
Okay. So anyway, just a 3x5 index card. That's all you need. And we found some other stuff here at Walmart. Just name badge holders.
Name badges.
So this is just stuff that, hello, my name is Chuck and I work at Nerd Herd.
Only it says, hello, my name is Levita Mocha.
And I am in this keg.
And I am in this keg, or hello, my name is Irish Red.
This is 2.5 inch by 3.3 inch, something close to that. So what you're going to do is you just take one of these, fold it in half.
This is complicated, so you might want to record this and try it at home.
This is the hard part. You have an entire sheet, and you bend it over in half. You write that down?
Yeah, got it.
And then you rip it in half. And
Hold
what
on,
ends
wait,
up...
I missed the last
You didn't
part.
miss... I said you rip it. No.
No,
Megan said you don't have to rip it.
that's wasteful. Then you only get half.
But
The opposite way.
I'm fairly certain...
Don't bring your logic into this conversation.
I only
okay?
bought 100 cards, so I want at least 200 different uses out of that.
Logic has no place in dog-like brewing.
So Megan's right. You can just fold it.
You can just fold it.
And then you just insert it perfectly in here. In fact, I'm going to insert both of them just for Megan. It doesn't work very well since we didn't really fold it, but fits in there just fine. So after you write the name of your beer, or maybe the date that you cleaned it. So
Yeah,
okay,
there you go.
The
Also-
date that you brewed it, maybe you're using that as a secondary. We use this as secondaries quite often. So you write, we put in a Irish, Scottish, English red on 4/24, and there's that date. That's when it's put in. Maybe you can put what temperature you were fermenting it at. I don't know.
who knows?
Doesn't matter. But you can write all that on there, and it's in a little bit of a spill-proof container. Most people have little twisty ties left over from their trash bags or something around the house where you can fasten this.
Or you can take that masking tape that you were writing the name of the beer on and just tape it to the keg.
You could.
That
There's
is recycling.
There's always something you can do there. But yeah, this is just something that we're going to do. We're going to label all our kegs. Helps us figure out that, okay, well, we've got, this keg and it's got this in it. And when somebody else comes over, because inevitably it wasn't just our silly Cuban immigrant here that didn't know where, nice, in the trash can, that didn't know where our beers were. But all our friends, when they come over, they're like, hey, which beer's which? They see the tap on there, and it may have a bunch of really dark liquid in there, but that doesn't mean it's on the dark beer, right? It doesn't mean it's on the stout. It means it came off of the stout and somebody put it on the wrong tap. So, yeah, it's all part of it. Thanks, Joy. But I think it's a really good idea. I don't know. I mean, maybe it will work. Maybe it won't.
I think it's pretty slick, and it's one of those things that's ingenious in its simplicity.
Yeah, it was $4.
$4, just a quick and easy, dirty fix, and it does make life a lot easier. Frankly,
Zip ties are so expensive, Dave.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, they really
Zip
are.
ties.
Come
I mean,
on.
it's like $1,000, and it's going to cost you
Well,
like $6.
This is the same guy who a few minutes ago suggested we cut the cards with scissors.
Yeah.
What do you think we are made of?
You think we have just scissors
It's
lying
just,
around?
like, floating around? Come on, dude.
You have to buy scissors.
That costs dinero, and that's Spanish for pesos.
It is. It's
So
definitely
we
cubic
were
for pesos.
talking earlier about the English IPA.
Okay.
And what happened to Kyle that kind of blurred the style? We blurred the style guideline on our English IPA. And even though you hear us talk about the best damn beer, it sounds like we hate style guidelines. We appreciate the guidelines.
The guidelines are there for a reason.
They're there
awesome.
for a reason, and we blurred them.
Yeah.
What did we do wrong?
Well, we went into this beer knowing we wanted a certain amount of bitterness in the beer. And you can do some calculations. You can look at your alpha acids, yada, 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 bunch of technical stuff. Well, we put in a high alpha acid, basically a hop that we could get a lot of bitterness from.
And one of our favorite hops.
It's a great hop.
We love it.
But we were hoping that we put it in far enough in advance to where most of the flavor would boil off. Because we didn't want the flavor of that. We just wanted that hop to attribute the bitterness. Unfortunately, some of the flavor stayed in there. And the way that the beer ended up drying out in the secondary, the way that everything happened in the beer, it attenuated a little bit further than it was supposed to. And so by the end of it, we had a stronger beer with less flavor, less strong flavor profiles. So that subtle hint of grapefruit that you get from the Chinook hops that we put in there.
It really ended up dominating.
Yeah.
And we just didn't see that coming. It was a mistake.
It's highly recommended that you don't do that, but we figured
we did it, and
we did it. We have the hop. We got pounded it crap right here. Let's just put them in there, right?
It's a good beer.
Yeah, it's a good beer.
But we did push the style guideline a little bit too hard, and that is one of the things that we really strive for sometimes is to nail a style. And we fell short, but I think we learned our lesson.
Yeah, and like I was telling Bono, I said we hit probably low 30s on the beer because it didn't meet style, but it was still good, still tasty, still drinkable. But I dry hopped it, put another 2 ounces of Fuggles on top of it, and the difference between that and the first style was tremendous. So it probably bumped it 5, maybe 6, 7, 8 points. So whatever you want to call it, it's maybe mid to high 30s now.
I think we should have an in-depth discussion about the rating scale sometime.
Rating scales?
On a show.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we talk about our own little competition here with the Best Damn Beer, but understand that we're in the midst of our second BJCP Beer Judging Certification Program class right now. I mean, we really appreciate the fact that styles are there for a reason, and the fact that you can, if you have styles, you can look at a bottle like this and say, it is a Belgian style triple, and you know what kind of a flavor profile you're going to get. And that is, and amongst itself, I mean, it's so great.
And it too gives you the ability to taste a beer that you don't enjoy. That you just say, I would never drink this on my own, but you can taste it and say, for what they're going for, they did the trick.
Yeah.
So, for instance, Kolsch. I don't like Kolsch.
Right.
Do you like Kolsch?
On a summer day, mowing the yard for 2 hours, I'd say Kolsch fits
all right,
pretty
yeah.
good.
Kolsch definitely has. All right, I'll give you that. It has a time and a place. But other than that, I would never drink it.
Mm-hmm.
But we had, when we were judging Blue Bonnet, a guy at my table was judging the Kolsch's, and he gave me a Kolsch that I drank, and I said, I don't like that. But for what they're going after, they nailed it.
They nailed the style.
They absolutely hammered the style.
And you've got to appreciate the fact that nobody's palate is the same. Nobody's.
Yeah.
So I can go through my beer styles and say, I like this style of beer, I like this style of beer, I don't like this style of beer. Until you've tried them all and you understand that the style themselves have to be there for you to know that you like the style. And so we're looking at these things and going, I don't like this style, or I do like this style.
The styles are there for a reason, guys.
And you look at most of the lady folk that we hang around with don't like hoppy styles of beers. So it's really easy to steer them away from anything that says IPA, anything that the bottle says an IBU above about 30. We can just push them away from that because we know they're not going to like it.
Speaking of the lady folk, before we close, I want to tell everybody that the ladies associated with Dogleg Brewery have formed a brewing group. We are trying to stick them with the moniker Harem of the Dogleg, but we're not 100% sure it'll stick because they don't like it nearly as much as we do. But they've been working on making a cider, and it's pretty stinking good. They went with 100% organic apples. That's all they threw in there. I think they ended up throwing a couple.
Oh God, that is awful.